My name is James Nix. Sorry I can't be with you today. I have worked with the Peat Council on renewable energy, and that's what this presentation is about. The question is, can we develop a renewable energy option that's both attractive and workable? First question, what is renewable? Peat does renew itself, but only very, very slowly. It takes about 10 years for the width of a fingernail. For peat to grow 1 foot, it takes 300 years. Now, wood grows much, much faster. I suppose also wind energy is mentioned regarding renewables. The difficulty here is wind isn't predictable. Sometimes it blows, sometimes it doesn't. And so it isn't really suitable at the household scale. When we look at households, the first thing we have to look at, ever before installing renewables, is the house itself in terms of insulation. And what you can see here from the graph is that about a quarter of heat in the home is lost through the roof, just over a third lost through the walls, 15% out through the door, 10% through the windows, and the final 15% through the floor. So I suppose in total there's 3 questions for us. Can we have more comfort in our homes? Can we boost local employment? And can we do all of this in a way that uses renewables? And that will deliver a win-win. That is the win-win, and they are our next steps. There are 2 potential sources of finance. First, there's the annual amount coming with regard to cessation of turf cutting, and that may increase up to €1,500 a year, and it's index linked for 15 years. But then, there's very importantly, there's also the grant amounts from Sustainable Energy Authority of Ireland, or SEAI. And the question is, can these 2 sources be combined? Can they be married to deliver a shift to renewable energy? If they can be married, how do we do it in a workable and clever way? So I suppose, take first the €1,000 of the 15-year payment. And if we convert this into a present day sum, that gives us €11,600. We take advantage, secondly, of all the SEAI money, that comes to around €4,000. So in total, that's an upfront sum of €15,600. And as we talked about earlier, the annual sum may well be increased, and additional monies there can be used for annual fuel costs. Looking at that annual amount of €15,600, let us say in an example home that €10,000 is invested to better insulate the attic and the walls and a solar heating system. And then let us say €3,000 to €4,000 is used to buy a modern stove capable of heating the entire home. And then I'm suggesting the final €1,000 to €2,000 goes on a new door or upgrading or enhancing the windows in the main living area or throughout the house. And that is the upgrade part of it. But what we have then, of course, is the annual side. How do we ensure a proper annual supply? I think in the initial years, the government has to organise a system so that fuel is delivered to homes. But I think in the longer term, we can look and we can adopt local coppicing. That's the cutting of wood periodically. For example, you might have 2 hectares or 5 acres in total, and a tenth of that will be cut once every 10 years, or a seventh of it will be cut once every 7 years. Now, the vital issue is that if proposals like that are put in place, those systems have to be set up now. In the short term, we can have the government organised system of fuel supply, but in the longer term, we need local sustainability. That means local supply at the local level. I think there's scope here for co-ops. We had a very strong co-op movement in the 1800s and into the 1900s. And I think just like turf cutting is organised, we can organise local wood supplies so we have sustainable energy right into the long term. And going back on that win-win situation, I think there is the potential for those 3 ingredients. More comfortable homes, jobs boost in local areas, and doing all of this using fuel that's renewable. Thank you very much for having a look at my presentation. I greatly appreciate feedback and queries. My email address is james@ien.ie. Thank you again.